Thanks for staying with us. You're watching WION World this one. I'm Adhya Juneja and this is Speed News. Let's start with all the stories making headlines today. US forces have disabled a Panama-flagged cargo ship attempting to reach Iran. According to US Central Command, a Navy MH-60 helicopter fired missiles into the engine room of the vessels, identified as the MV Velanova, after its civilian crew ignored repeated warnings. Well, CENTCOM said the vessel was disabled and is no longer traveling to Iran in violation of the US blockade. It marks the third vessel forcibly halted since the blockade of Iranian ports was reinstated on 14th of July. CENTCOM says US forces have redirected 55 ships attempting to breach the blockade and boarded 2 others. The US military previously enforced a blockade from 13th of April to 18th of June, during which it said 9 vessels were disabled and more than 140 were redirected. Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps advisor Reza Naqvi says Iranian forces must be prepared to expand operations into enemy territory and carry out missions beyond Iran's borders if ordered. Naqvi called for the timely development of military capabilities and maintaining a high level of operational readiness. At least 6 people have been killed after Iran-backed Houthi rebels allegedly struck a cargo ship near Yemen's Bab el-Mandeb Strait. Yemen's Coast Guard says 4 crew members and 2 rescue personnel were killed, while 10 others were injured. The commercial vessel, identified as the T. Hamaha, caught fire and suffered extensive damage in the attack. The Houthis later claimed that the ship that was targeted was carrying Saudi military equipment. Libyan National Army Chief of Staff Khalid Haftar has described the killing of Intelligence Chief Fawzi al-Mansouri as a terrorist attack. Al-Mansouri was killed in a car bombing in Benghazi. Eastern Libyan authorities suspect a possible jihadist link, but no group has claimed responsibility. An investigation is underway to determine those behind the attack. Rescuers, soldiers and volunteers are searching through collapsed buildings in Western Colombia looking for survivors after a powerful earthquake killed at least 241 people. The 7.4 magnitude quake injured more than 1,670 people and left many others homeless, according to local authorities. In cities including Cali and Pereira, rescue teams are using cranes, sniffer dogs and heavy machinery to search through the rubble. Volunteers have also joined the effort, using shovels and their bare hands to clear debris and reach those still trapped. Aftershocks continue to rattle damaged areas as authorities describe the response as one of Colombia's largest disaster operations in years. A ferry carrying 95 people has capsized on Zimbabwe's Lake Kariba with multiple deaths feared. Witnesses say the ferry was operating normally when a large wave may have hit the vessel, causing its engines to shut down before it capsized. A major rescue operation was launched involving helicopters, boats and divers from the local area and the army. Nearly 60 people are believed to have been rescued, while authorities continue searching the waters for survivors and victims. Protesters gathered in El Salvador to demand the release of 12 war veterans accused of plotting attacks during President Nayib Bukele's 2024 inauguration. Families of the accused called the legal proceedings a legal barbarity and denounced what they call as irregularities and a lack of due process. The trial, which was scheduled to begin Tuesday, has been postponed until 7th of September. The accused deny the charges while their relatives demand their immediate release and full acquittal. Indigenous protesters gathered outside Brazil's National Congress in Brasilia demanding protection of their rights and territories. The protesters accuse lawmakers of advancing bills and constitutional amendments they say could undermine indigenous rights. Protesters carried banners reading "Our rights are non-negotiable" and "Territories free from exploitation" as they sang, danced and played musical instruments outside the Congress. US President Donald Trump says he was moved to a different aircraft after secretly flying from Turkey last month, citing a potential threat. But Trump told reporters the plane he originally flew was considered to be at greater risk and that he followed instructions from the Secret Service and the military. Trump said he believed the aircraft he was on would have been more likely to be targeted. He also said he received numerous threats and does not trust Iran, claiming the United States now has total control of the Strait of Hormuz. Russia has released former U.S. Marine Robert Gilman on humanitarian grounds after more than 4 years in Russian custody. President Donald Trump said Gilman's release followed discussions with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Trump described the release as a humanitarian decision and said no prisoner exchange took place. In a Truth Social post, Trump noted that Gilman was detained in Russia in 2022 during the Biden administration. Trump said Gilman is now returning to the United States and will be welcomed at Andrews Air Force Base in Washington, D.C. A Syrian court has sentenced former President Bashar al-Assad to death in absentia, convicting him of crimes against humanity and war crimes committed during Syria's 14-year civil war. The verdict marks the first domestic conviction of Assad since his regime was ousted in December 2024. Assad fled to Russia following his ouster and was sentenced in absentia because he was not present in court. The ruling also includes convictions for killings, torture and arbitrary detention carried out during the conflict. New Zealand Prime Minister Christopher Luxon has survived a confidence vote by lawmakers from his ruling National Party. Luxon called the meeting amid growing speculation over his leadership months ahead of the country's general election. The Prime Minister also survived a confidence vote in the month of April as his party faces weak support amid slow economic growth and rising unemployment. Recent opinion polls show National narrowly trailing the opposition Labour Party ahead of the 7th of November election. Luxon's personal approval has also declined, with the latest poll putting his preferred Prime Minister rating at 17%. South Korea says North Korea has fired a ballistic missile towards the Sea of Japan, days before major US-South Korea military exercises. Pyongyang has repeatedly condemned the annual drills as a practice for an invasion and has often carried out missile launches around the exercises. Now, the latest launch adds to tensions on the Korean peninsula ahead of the upcoming military drills. The death toll from an ongoing Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo has surpassed 2,000. Health authorities report 4,381 confirmed cases, including 2,011 deaths, with a case fatality rate of nearly 46%. More than 700 patients remain in isolation or hospital care, while 869 people have recovered. Cases have been reported in 5 provinces, with Ituri remaining the epicenter of the outbreak. UN Senior Ebola Coordinator Julian Harnier says half of the recorded deaths have occurred in the last 20 days, urging a stronger response to save lives and contain the virus. The DRC government declared the outbreak on 15th of May. Authorities say it is the largest Ebola outbreak ever recorded in the country and the second largest globally. On to some business stories now. Asian markets opened mixed today, with South Korea's Kospi rising more than 3%. Japan's Nikkei slipped slightly in a volatile trade, while the Topix gained 0.3%. Australia's ASX 200 fell around 0.5%. US stock futures were little changed, with Dow futures up 0.04%, while S&P 500 and Nasdaq 100 futures gained 0.07% and 0.08% respectively. Investors are now watching US inflation data for fresh clues on the Federal Reserve's interest rate path. Oil prices rose on Wednesday as doubts over a US-Iran peace deal and fresh attacks on shipping fueled supply concerns. Brent crude gained more than 0.5% to over $89 a barrel, while US crude rose to nearly $84. Both benchmarks closed at their highest levels since July 31st on Tuesday. Traffic through the Strait of Hormuz dropped to just 6 vessels on Monday, compared with the pre-war daily average of 125 to 140. Meanwhile, US crude stockpiles rose by an estimated 9.1 million barrels last week, far above expectations. Markets now await official US inventory data for further direction. Gold prices held steady on Wednesday as investors weighed prospects for a deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Bullion traded near $4,400 an ounce after falling 0.5% on Tuesday from a 2-month high. Markets are now focused on US inflation data for fresh clues on the Federal Reserve's interest rate path. Meanwhile, Pakistan's defense minister said the US and Iran are close to an arrangement that could reopen the vital waterway. The US dollar traded sideways in Asia on Wednesday as investors awaited US inflation data for fresh clues on the Federal Reserve's rate path. The yen held near 159 per dollar, while the euro stood at $1.15 and sterling at 1.35. Markets remain divided on the Fed's next move, with Fed funds futures pricing 52% chance of no change in September versus 48% for a quarter-point rate hike. Meanwhile, rising oil prices and West Asia shipping disruptions are adding to inflation concerns. Technology stories now. China is using AI-powered weather models to improve forecasts as extreme weather becomes more frequent. Systems including Fengwu from Shanghai AI Laboratory, Huawei's Pangu, and Fudan University's Fuxi can generate weather forecasts much faster than traditional computer models. The AI systems are also being tested during typhoon season, where faster and more accurate forecasts could help authorities prepare for floods, evacuations, and transport disruptions. Fengwu developers say the system can predict a typhoon's landfall 5 days in advance, but AI models still struggle to match traditional systems in predicting storm intensity. Ryanair will use Google's Gemini AI and DeepMind models across its operations under a new 5-year cloud partnership. The Irish airline will roll out Google Workspace and Google Cloud services to around 35,000 employees to help improve operations. Ryanair says AI agents will help with crew scheduling, automate some operational decisions and reduce disruptions. The airline will also use Google DeepMind models including Alpha Evolve and WeatherNext for fleet operations and maintenance scheduling. Now, the deal adds Google Cloud to Ryanair's existing Amazon Web Services setup as the airline looks to improve resilience and support its growth. Anthropic will start watermarking text generated by its AI models, including Claude, to comply with new European Union rules. Now, the company says all models released after 2nd of August will automatically include watermarking for AI-generated text and files. The watermark will remain with the text when users copy and paste it and may survive some editing. For files, Anthropic will use the C2PA open standard to identify AI-generated content. Now, the move follows the EU AI Act's new transparency requirements, which aims to make AI-generated content easier for other systems to identify. Tesla is recalling 20,349 vehicles in the US over low-beam headlights that may be too bright. The U.S. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says the issue could reduce visibility for oncoming drivers and increase crash risk. The recall affects certain Tesla Model 3 and Model Y vehicles, but a fix has not yet been finalized. Now, the recall comes as Tesla faces continued safety scrutiny, with NHTSA also investigating about 1.2 million Tesla vehicles over reported suspension failures that could lead to loss of steering control. The European club football season is here. Champions League winners PSG will take on reigning Europa League champions Aston Villa in the UEFA Super Cup later today. The match is set to be played at the Red Bull Arena in Salzburg, Austria. PSG won the UEFA Super Cup last year as well and are favourites to get the better of Villa. Meanwhile, Aston Villa are in the Super Cup for the first time in 44 years, having won it in their only previous appearance in 1982. Now, the match will be refereed by Somalia's Omar Artan, who was denied entry into the US for the World Cup. Artan was subsequently assigned to officiate in the Super Cup by UEFA. Portuguese football superstar Cristiano Ronaldo and his longtime partner Georgina Rodrigues tied the knot in a private ceremony. The 41-year-old Ronaldo shares a photo of the couple's hands with their wedding bands on his Instagram account. On to some entertainment stories now. Taylor Swift is set to be inducted into the Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame. At 36 years old, the 14-time Grammy winner has become the youngest person to ever receive this prestigious honor. Swift expressed her immense gratitude in a statement, noting that the city had validated her hard work and imagination since she began her career there as a teenager. The highly anticipated period drama Rana Bali, starring Vijay Deverakonda and Rashmika Mandanna, is reportedly shifting its release date to the 30th of October 2026. The delay follows a recent tendon injury sustained by Mandanna, which temporarily halted production on her scheduled projects as she recovers. Set in the 19th century, the film features Deverakonda as a fearless rebel, while the movie will mark Mandanna and Deverakonda's first film after tying the knot.